Many Hacks podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle. Every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. Too Many Hacks podcast.
Top of the morning to you, my good people. Happy Thursday, man. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, man. As Mr. Rogers would say, man, this your host with the most, Tony Mays, Lavelle Salter. Man, we got a doozy plan for you today, man. I'm excited about this show, man, for a couple of reasons, man. But we just kind of wanted to kind of continue our conversations. We had a conversation a few weeks ago just talking about our youth and what can we do to try to will our youth back in? And man, so we're gonna kind of continue that conversation today, but we're gonna do it with a special guest, man. I got a good friend of mine and brother, Mr. Doc Holliday, that's gonna be joining us today, man. He is the sports director for WMC TV Channel 5. He's a former co-host of the Ramblings podcast with Isaac Bruce, who was a former teammate of his at Memphis State University, now University of Memphis. He's the owner of the 12 Tribes LLC, man, and I just can't wait to get into it with this brother, man. He is a brother beloved, man, and he's out here doing the work, man. He ain't just talking about it; he being about it, and that's one of the things that I like about this guy, man. And so, I just got through talking to him before we got on and shared with him. We were talking about marriage and how long we both been married, and I was congratulating him on his anniversary. And we just chatted up a little bit and just talked about how hard it is to find a good woman. And when you find one, you don't want to let her go. So without further ado, man, I want to bring to the stage my good friend and brother, Mr. Marcus Doc Holiday. What it do, my guy?
Yeah, Tony, what's up, man? How you doing,
man? Got it, man. You got it, man. So, I you were doing something a few weeks ago, and we'll get into that. But you were doing something a few weeks ago, maybe a couple of months ago. That bro, I was just in awe at, man. Because when you talk about doing the work, a lot of people talk the talk.
Yeah.
But you got to get out there and walk the walk too. And you are one of the people that I know that are actually, trying to be out there and walk the walk and try to make a difference and talk to these young folks. But before we get into that, man, just kind of tell the people a little bit about yourself, man. I already told them that you was the program and sports director for WMC TV Channel 5 and former co-host of the Ramblings podcast with Isaac Bruce. But I want to know a little bit more about the 12 Tribes LLC.
Oh, well, man. Well, first of all praises to the Most High, man. I appreciate the invite, man. It's a pleasure to be here talking to you, man. We from the same hood, same community, man. For people don't know, born and raised in Memphis, inner city Memphis, man. Called, Black Haven, right between, right off Range Road between Sherry Drive and Horn Lake. Went to Range Haven, Lanier Junior High School, Fairleigh High School, played football there, played football with the St. Louis Rams, and got into this TV business in 98. And you talked about me being married. Yeah, man, a good woman hard to find. So I found mine at Lanier in 1987. The problem was I wasn't a good dude. Yeah. I wasn't a good dude yet, dog. So I found out God sent me a good woman, but I wasn't a good dude yet. So thankfully, God let that good woman stay with me until I turned into a good dude as far as being a good husband and boyfriend. So it's just a blessing, man. So right now, like you said, I'm a sports director at Channel 5. I also call football games for ESPN during college football season, so I'm getting ready to ramp up and do that again, man. But she and I, we got 4 children, man. Well, I got 3. I got 4, and she and I got 3. So, they the loves of my life. She the love of my life, man. And going back to the 12 Tribes LLC, that's just something. You know, I read and research a lot. Like for the last 25, 30 years, I just always been looking for knowledge because, you know, school will give us, program us on some knowledge they want us to know, but I wanted some real knowledge myself. So I started reading and researching, man, and I said, oh, okay. And I started reading that word about 6.5 years ago. The Most High put it on my spirit, hey, get a Bible. That's what the voice told me, and I didn't get one right away. Then 2 weeks later, it's like, get a Bible. So I just got it and started reading. So when I started reading and researching, I'm like, oh, I was wondering why, you know, we become African American in 1988 because that wasn't on my birth certificate. Our names keep getting changed. So researching, man, I'm like, oh, okay. So a lot of the quote unquote Black Americans in the United States and scattered across the world are really the biblical Israelites. So that's where 12 Tribes LLC came from, me getting to know myself, who I am, according to the Most High.
Gotcha. Lavelle, I think you got a little feedback because it didn't happen till you jump on. Your volume might be too loud. Too loud. Okay. So yeah, you know, thank you for that, Marcus, man. You know, I you know, with Lavelle and I both being ministers, it's you know, it's always and sometimes we have some spirited conversations about the Bible and different things about the new church. We call it the new church because boy, it's different now. But what I want to get into is these children.
Yeah, no doubt.
I want to get into these children. I put this out here last night. And one of the reasons, because it seems like our children are at the forefront of a lot of these activities, these criminal activities going on, man. And it just tears at my heart to see it a lot of times, and especially as it relates to murder. Now, what I did discover is that even though it looks really, really bad, it's not really as bad with the young people as we think it is.
Thanks.
Yeah. So I had to actually do my research and find that out. Unless somebody's hiding the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, unless somebody hiding the numbers. But I put out there, you know, what is the age range for murder suspects in Memphis, Tennessee? And I'm just focusing on Memphis because we can't take care of nobody else until we take care of home.
Yeah.
And then why are our children so violent? And I think, you know, what you did, you know, a couple of months ago. And I have a video, if it's okay. I want to play a video. And this is one of the things, man. This is one of the videos you did where you were going around to the different communities and neighborhoods, man, and just talking to these young folks.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanna play that video really quick, man. We ain't got to play all of it. Just play.
I'm still in Memphis. I done made another stop. I done already been to Fraser. I done been to North Memphis. I done been to Black Haven, where I'm from. Just left Walker Homes. Now I'm here in South Memphis. Dog, first of all, appreciate you talking to me, bro. Tell the folks your name, man, and where we at, dog.
My name is Nuswin Kestate, a.k.a. Dolphin.
Now, first of all, what we talking about, man? I told you, the only reason I'm making these stops, but I pull up on y'all, a lot of y'all.
Yes, sir.
But I ain't scared because I come from where y'all come from.
Yes, sir.
But my problem is, man, I'm trying to see what can we do, man, about, you know, to stop all this violence and killing amongst one another.
We need more money out here, more jobs. Like, you know, people got feelings.
Yeah.
More opportunities and shit.
Yeah.
Need something like we need something like for the kids stuff here.
Yeah.
Breeze Park. We ain't got nothing here. We need some here for the kids. Keep hearing a lot of shit going on.
Everybody
Like you know how it is. But we trying.
You gotta spread the wealth.
You gotta spread the wealth.
I want to see you, but I don't want to pop the camera around because they might.
Let me stop it right there. I want to stop it right there because one of the things that jumped right off the page to me during this particular interview was this guy said, everybody angry.
Mm-hmm.
Why are young folks so angry?
Man, you know what? It's a good question. And going around talking to those young people, man, and that it's actually something I've been doing for years. It's just my first time, you know, deciding to record it. And I still been doing it since then. I just hadn't picked up the camera to record it, but that's a good question, man. And when you talk to them, they feel like, and I get it, they feel like the world, not only does not the world don't care about them, it's the people outside of that circle doesn't care about them, because the music company allows us to make music that disparages our lives, minimize our lives, and make them think they ain't nothing. Make our young women think they ain't nothing. They promote that and glorify it all the time, and are really the only images they'll let us see of ourselves on television. They'll go back to us being enslaved. They won't touch on nothing, all the stuff we've invented. They won't touch on who we were before we were enslaved. And they keep pushing these narratives, man, and this propaganda. So that's the only way they see themselves. Mm-hmm. Black movies, what they doing? We selling dope, killing each other. Mm-hmm. So when they see that, they're like, don't nobody. So then they see people like us a lot of times who see them. You ain't got to go to the neighborhood and talk to them, but a lot of times we'll just walk right past them when we see them in the store and won't even acknowledge or say nothing to them, man.
Right.
So when they seeing that, they're like, damn, man, because a lot of them just want to be acknowledged. A lot of them just want to be loved, bro. It goes a long way, man. So that's why they angry, because they feel like don't nobody care nothing about them but themselves. And like, if I get a gun and go shoot somebody, people don't care if I do that or not. So if they don't care nothing about me, what the hell I should care about somebody else for?
Right. I believe too, and Lavelle and I, we've had these conversations and just over the last maybe year and a half, this particular topic just has, it just keep resurfacing. And it's because, the heart that we have for our young folk. And, Lavelle and I, we used to have a youth ministry where we was trying to do everything we could on Friday nights, where most people out here partying, kicking it. Me and Lavelle was in church, with a bunch of youth trying to, steer them in the right direction. So, and prior to that, I had a young boys ministry called Save Our Boys Youth Ministry, where it was the same thing. And I talked about a lot of those boys that hung around us at that time, and most of them now are doing great in life. If you look back at, they just needed somebody to show them outside of mom and dad that they're cared, like you said, that they're loved and cared about. And we took time away from our families. And a lot of times I included my son, because my son was younger at the time, and I included my son into that whole group as well. And when I look back now, all of those boys are young men. Now I don't want to call them boys, but because they men, they're doing well. They got their own families, married, children, some of them grandchildren that are doing well now. And there's only one that expired. He was killed in a car accident many years ago. And then there was one that actually got incarcerated for stuff, but now he's out doing well. Mm-hmm. So when I look at that, man, and I look at the impact that we had in those young men's lives, just because we cared. But I do believe, Marcus, too, that it starts at home. If you don't show these kids you love them at home, how do you expect for somebody on the street to show them they love them if you don't even care for them at the house? And you have a lot of people, Lavelle knows this is I've kind of adopted this as my mantra now. You can be in the house, Marcus, doing everything you're supposed to do, providing shelter, roof, clothes, and still not be present in them kids' life. Mm-hmm. Because you're so caught up in the creature comforts and having this and having that, till you overlook the fact that this child is screaming, talk to me, mama, talk to me, daddy. I'm trying to tell you what's going on with my life. So if you don't listen, guess who's gonna listen? Them streets. Yeah. And so that's generally who they turn to. They run to the street because, quote unquote, that's who's showing them the love. Mm-hmm. So if we can't, and I really hate to say this, but I can't stand to see a young kid go out here and maybe commit some heinous crime, and then the parent get on TV and say, "Oh, my baby was a good baby. He was a good boy. But he done just shot 5 people." Mm-hmm. So in between the gap, in that gap, of him being a really good kid to him killing 5 people, what happened? Because I'm pretty sure at one point he probably was a really good kid. But what happened in that gap between him being a really good kid and him shooting 5 people? And that's where I feel like we've dropped the ball at, not just as definitely as a community, but we always talk about this too. Ain't no village no more. Mm-hmm. When we was coming up, it was a village. If you did something, Marcus, down the street, and Miss Jones saw you do something, she finna call your daddy.
Now she gonna whoop my ass first, then she gonna take me to my mom. Exactly. And they gonna whoop my ass. They gonna whoop my ass.
Right.
Point blank. Period.
But now you can't touch the kids. You can't say nothing to the kid because the parents popping out.
Yeah.
And I, even when my kids were younger, I used to tell my neighbor, if you see him doing something wrong, you correct him. Now, there's a way to talk to him, because I had one neighbor, his thing, he cussing him out. He talked to him like, and I said, bro, like, I don't mind you correcting my kid, but you ain't got to talk to him like they, because then they ain't gonna respect you.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying? And he apologized. He said, I apologize. I did say that to him. I apologize. Because when he said it, Tony turned around to him and, basically said, man, and I got on him for doing that. But at the same time, I told the guy, I was like, it's a way to talk to him. The way to correct.
Was this 6'6" Tony? How do you got 6'6" yet?
You hear me?
Oh, yeah, dude.
So, yeah. And he turned around and woofed back up at the dude. I'm like, no, we ain't doing that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, don't talk to him like he some little thug on the street. That's not him.
Yeah.
So there's a way to talk to the kids, man. And when I see him, and then so you mentioned this, that you out there now, you're talking to them, you don't really put the cameras out there, and they just really looking for people to show them the love. But how is that like? And when you look at today, right? What's going on today? Folk are scared, Mark. Doc, folk are scared out here, man. And here I'm walking, finna go in the corner store. I see 3 little jokers sitting out here, looking like they up to no good. You want me to speak to them cats that might rob me once I come out the store? So you see the dilemma. Like, we scared. We want to say something, but we scared.
Well, you know what, bro? I put it like this. I don't. Everybody has a different walk in life. That's why I tell people, man, you ain't got to do what I do. Everybody can do the same thing. This is a war. Everybody got a mission and something that's on their life that they're supposed to do. So I don't tell everybody to go out and do what I do. It's just that the fact that, and I have to be straight honest, and I try not to get into deep biblical or religious conversations unless I'm in private and we really talking so we can pull out some scripture. We really have to have a real deep conversation and an uncomfortable situation about who we truly are and why these things are happening to us. See, that's why the things that come in, I'd be like, you do understand that just a generation ago, we wasn't like this. And I tell people all the time, I said, man, look, this is a spiritual battle we got going on, man. You have to look in that book and open that book when the creator says, the creator of all things, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, you know what I'm saying? The creator of everything, the former of everything. When he said, look, I got this group of people, man, but if y'all be disrespectful to me and disobedient, I'm going to cause all these things to happen to you all. Children going to be y'all oppressors. Mistress women going to bring forth monsters. Your young men going to be at the top of streets screaming like bull raging. He said that basically the black man going to hate the black woman going to hate the black. Y'all going to have an evil eye towards one another. And ain't nobody going to help y'all. But see, these are conversations that a lot of us not ready to have because we've been taught something for so long. So when I know the reason behind it happening, and also the creator says, God Most High says, look, man, I'm the one that killed you and I'm the one that wounds you in it. I'm the one that do that. Can't nobody touch you unless I give them permission to touch you. So I'm like, no, dog. And the scriptures say the angel of the Lord encampeth around those that fear him. So I fear him. So when you fear the Creator, you become fearless. But like I said, everybody ain't meant to do the same thing. But when I see them cats, man, I don't care nothing about your pistols, bro. Because everybody I talk to on them little videos, clips from them, every young fella, except for the first one, had them hammers on. Especially in Castalia with my man in the wheelchair. It was some of them cats out there when I pulled up. They just didn't want to be on video.
Yeah,
They had big hammers on. Right. I just walk out. I see the hammers. I woke up, man. They looking at me. They like, what up, huh? You know what I'm saying? They don't know who I am, which was cool. Right. And that's why him and another guy in the they were like, dog, he said, hey, OG, don't worry about it, man. A lot of them just got out of prison. They just don't want to be in jail. But once we started talking, they started gathering. That's why you hear me talking off camera. Because there's a whole bunch of them out there. Now they want to talk, but they just don't want to be seen.
Right.
So my thing is, I pull up a lot of times, man. I see, because I still live in the Haven. Right. I go to the store. Cats be still, you know what I do? What up, dog? What's up, man? How y'all doing, man? You know what I'm saying? So
that's me too. Yeah, that's me too. Yeah, I'm gonna speak too.
I don't expect everybody to do that. That's all. I don't expect everybody to do that way.
I'm kind of the same way. When I get out, I'm speaking. What up, man? What up, young? What up, young guy? Yeah. They hey, what up, OG? What up, It is they gonna hit you with that. But I'm talking about, it's a lot of other people. When I say, people are scared, I'm just saying people in general.
Yeah, I know you talking about you. I know you talking about
you. People in general are just scared because they don't know, what's gonna happen. And it is like you said. See, we've also tried to have these conversations. What you just got, these biblical conversations.
Hey, people ain't ready for that, bro.
And I've invited pastors. How many pastors we invited, Lavelle? They don't none of them show up on it.
Oh, several of them. They ain't coming.
Lavelle, what's up, man? How you doing, man?
I'm good. You all right? I'm just listening, man. Taking it out.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, we've invited a lot of pastors on here, and I think we've had Pastor Christopher Broom on here, but we was talking about mental health and different things, other things. But when we try to have these kind of spirited conversations, and what the church's role in this is, we can't get nobody on here. It's like crickets. I'm like, and Lavelle often says, the church ain't present no more either. The church is just not present. The church used to be, man, the place where we gather for Red Circle Sunshine, Vacation Bible School, all of these things. And we took a lot of this stuff to the streets and had the revivals, stuff like that. And people wasn't scared, like you said. They weren't scared to go out and talk to people. But now, man, even the Jehovah's Witness, bro, on Saturdays, them jokers used to come knock at our door. Them folks scared to walk and knock on doors now.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. And I used to call them jokers the holy boldness rollers, because they just knock on anybody's door. They ain't care on Saturday morning. Care what you didn't care if you was in there watching TV, cleaning up, whatever you was doing. So I do think that, there's a certain holy boldness you have to have when you're dealing with these young folk. And I think it's just like you said, man, just trying to just not, if you fear God and God is more powerful than anything else out here, why would you be scared of anything else?
That's my point.
Well, a lot of the problem is, we always trying to clean the fish before we catch it. And folks are always trying to, God said this and you shouldn't be doing it. You ain't spoke to me. You ain't said how I'm doing. You ain't asking me if I need anything, and you trying to act like you don't, you've been saved all your life. And, you gotta be approachable as well. Young folk know fake folks. You know what I'm saying? That when I used to be in the hood kicking in and walking homes and stuff, they just kind of just, drawn to me, so to speak, because I'm the same dude at church as I am in the hood. I ain't finna switch it up and, how you doing, man? God bless you. You doing all right? No, come on, man. They already know. You ain't, come on, man. You know what I'm saying? Marcus gonna be Marcus. That might be on TV and everything. When he walked up and say, "Hi, this is Doc from Five. How y'all doing?" No,
that ain't happening. Yeah, that ain't happening.
No. And I think, like, you know, when you look at that, you know, that's true too, Lavelle. Like, you know, these young folk, they understand when you being fake and you being real with them.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
and they can detect that fakeness and you being fake with them. I've seen where people, you know, try to come with that fake stuff and they get ran up out the hood real quick, you
Mm-hmm.
know, because it's not genuine.
Yep.
Let me I want to acknowledge some of our viewers this morning. Mayor Matt, good morning. Good morning, Miss Shorter. Monica says we got a letter in the mail from a Jehovah's Witness instead of a knock at the door.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was a young man knocked on my door. It's probably been 3 weeks ago. We was getting ready to go on vacation. He came and knocked at the door. Now, when I looked at the camera and I was like, "Woo, this dude right here, he looked like he could have been up to no good." But instead of me saying, I went to the door, opened it. I stepped out on the porch, talked to him. Hey, how you doing, man? And he introduced himself. Man, come to find out, the dude was a student at the University of Memphis, you know, but he wasn't looking like that. He looked like, you know, he could be up to no good. But I didn't judge him based on that. So let me get out and talk to the brother, see what's up. And you know, when he said, I appreciate you talking to me. He was talking about, and he was a very intellectual young man, talking about the Elon Musk, the wind, whatever the things, turbines he putting up, yeah. And it was talking about that and saying that they have meetings at the University of Memphis and they want people to come out and you know, speak up against it and how it's affecting the community and stuff like that. Good morning, Pops. And how it's affecting the community and stuff. And so but the average person probably would have looked at him and just been screaming through the doorbell, you know. So you know, we do have to have a certain kind of, but I just believe in interacting with people. Mom can tell me all the time, boy, you just don't meet no stranger. Anybody come out, man, I could be in another country and people just talk to me.
Yeah.
Just walk up and start talking. And when they can know we in a full-fledged conversation that's talking about any and everything. I don't meet strangers. And that's because I treat people the way I want to be treated, first of all. And you know, one of the things that always got me every time we went to Chicago, if I was walking down the street or whatever, I'm speaking to folks. Hey, how you doing? They don't do that up north, bro. Them folk look at you, they were looking at me crazy. One speaking back, looking at me crazy. But me, that didn't deter me from speaking to the next person I saw walking up the street. You know what I'm saying? That's just who I am. I'm gonna speak to you, whether you speak back or not. And so, you know, I understand when I'm in different places and different, you know, you have to move a certain way, but you know, it's just not gonna stop me from being who I am, if you know, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I feel you, and I know a lot of times a lot of us look at one another, may look at somebody and prejudge them, you know, based on how they look and how they carrying themselves. But I'd be like, look, man, hey, Ezekiel, one of the major prophets of the book, man, dude had to lay on his side for 390 days, man, then 40 more days, man. Hair, he was stinky, man. Hair wasn't cut. So how you think he was looking? You know, Isaiah was moving around the town, man, for 2 years, butt naked, bro, talking to himself. You see what I'm saying? So these were major prophets. So you never know who you dealing with, man, just because somebody ain't looking the part.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of the times when all of them, you know, Abraham, a lot of them dudes put on sackcloth, man, and ashes, man. They took their garments off.
Yeah.
They look dirty. They look worn and torn.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm always thinking about that, even if I hear somebody talking to themselves. Man, I don't know who the hell they talking to. They could be talking to an angel, man. Leave that man alone. Leave her alone, man. You don't know who they talking to. Don't say they're crazy.
Well, I mean, the word say be careful how you entertain strangers, because you just may be entertaining the angel.
Exactly,
so that's the reason I always talk to people. I've heard stories. I've talked to people. I heard stories where they said they were talking to somebody, man, and this randomly talking to somebody that they thought was homeless or whatever, and then they look back and the person, bam, just vanished and thin air, just gone.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know, bro. You know, so I treat everybody that, you know, I'm gonna talk to you. I talk to the homeless person. I walk up and talk to him, where other people might be walking by and some people like, I don't just talk to people like that. you know, hell, you might miss out on a blessing. Just not talking to somebody who, who knows. So I just talk to people, bro. And that's just who I am as a person, an individual. I'm gonna talk to you. I'm gonna, and I think with these young people, getting back to these young people, they need more people showing them that they care about them. And I heard the one dude say, we need more amusement parks, stuff for the kids to do. But then when we do stuff like that, because that's like when the fair comes, the Mid-South Fair comes, then they get to the fair, they fight. And that's why people don't want to bring stuff or do stuff, because the young folk don't know how to act. And I think before we start introducing all these amusement parks and all this extra stuff for them to do, we got to talk to them and show them that we care about them first. Then we won't have them coming shooting up the park where we trying to have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I saw a video, and it's made the news now, in Philly, where they were at a 4th of July cookout and turned into an all-out war zone at a 4th of July cookout, where 3 young people ended up dead. One of them in a wheelchair, just there, bystander. Now this man's daddy on TV saying, I can't pick him up and put him in the, and take him and help him. I can't do that no more. He gone. All because of somebody angry, mad, whatever the case may be, and decide they want to go shoot up a cookout.
It got a lot to do with our law.
Was at the cookout.
It got a lot to do with our laws and our standards as a country as well. Because some of these countries you go to, you can't do something. You can't even drop no paper. You can't even, do certain things. If you do something you ain't got no business, you need to stay locked up, man. And you live by the sword, you're gonna die by the sword. So the thing is, you can't be around here, man, just violating folks out. I'm just gonna go in, I'm gonna be right back out. So they gonna calmly keep on violating just because they don't have no type of consequences or repercussions for their actions. Their parents ain't disciplining them, so they gonna, hey man, I can get the gun, shoot the folks, and then I'll be right back out. It's crazy, man. We don't have no type of standards as a country, and that I think that's one of the major opportunities as well. And then once they go into the jail, you know yourself. Jail used to be kind of like a reforming type of situation when you went to jail. When you went in, you came out better. Yeah. It ain't happening no more.
It's ironic you bring up like other countries. I've traveled to a lot of countries, and you're absolutely right, man. That's the first thing I ask. If we getting a tour or doing anything, the first thing I ask the person, I be like right up on the person. We getting a tour guide or whatever. I'm right up on the person in their ear talking. I'm like, so what's the crime rate like? And you be amazed, man. Like, and they'll tell you like, oh no, they don't tolerate crime and stuff here. This this country, they don't do that. They'll they kick you out the country. Ain't going no jail, nigga. We kicking you out the country. We were in Aruba, and the guys like the crime rate is 0.00%. He said, because we don't tolerate crime. We kick you off the island. We literally kick you off the island. And I'm like, that's crazy. Like, I don't know if the U.S. will ever get to that point, because you got too many radical people that are for guns and and all this stuff. In Australia, guns are illegal. You better not have no gun in Australia. It's illegal. You can walk around and just do whatever you want to do. Leave your doors open. You can forget and leave your cell phone at the gym. You hoop and leave your cell phone. You come back, your cell phone, your book bag still in the same place you left it when you walked out 3 hours ago. They just don't do that there. And here, I just don't know, man. It's like the government, when you look at it, it's like, there's a genocide of young black men and black women. And I heard some old Chicago gangbangers say one time that had kind of changed their life around. They was talking about one of the parks that were one of the most deadliest parks that used to be like one of the, oh man, it was a park we used to come hang out, but now it's one of the deadliest parks in Chicago. And he said, I'm gonna tell you why. And he threw the year out there. He said, one year, a big crate showed up in the middle of the park. He said, where did this crate come from? Just nowhere, just in the middle of the park. and it's full of guns. Where does that come from? Somebody just go to the park and drop a crate full of semi-automatic. Hey, how you think we didn't have access to all these automatic weapons and all this stuff? They put it in the park. They wanted to create this black on black anger and crime against each other by putting these weapons out here so we can kill each other. Because we didn't have the means of it. Yeah, later on we started knocking off gun stores and stuff, opening and getting the guns we wanted, but it initially started with them dropping the guns off in our neighborhoods.
Well, bro, you know what, man? We have to and when I had these conversations, man, and I be like, you gotta understand, y'all, a lot of us, I ain't talking about y'all, but when I be talking, I be like, bro, we prisoners of war, man. They still at war with us, man. Y'all don't, I mean, I be telling the cats, y'all don't understand that. See, for you really not to know who you are and know that when you talk about indigenous to the land, the real indigenous people of this land, you're looking at them. So people ain't ready for them conversations. I can show you the receipts. I'm in my office. I got stacks of books and research articles. So they still at war with us. And we don't understand. They implemented articles of war hundreds of years ago, man. And it'd be long term. We're going to do this. Right. Then we're going to do this. Then we're going to disenfranchise them. Then we're going to criminalize them. Then we're going to break the black man and the black woman up. We're going to get the black man out of there. Hey, black woman, look, we'll give you a house. Let us be your dad. Get him out of there, though.
We're going to give you some supplemental income, food stamps.
Let us raise it. Get him out of there. So, but he living there? Oh, we can't give you that house.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got the black codes, man. It started with the black codes. Like, okay, we're gonna end slavery, but okay, now we're gonna make it illegal for you not to have a job. We're gonna make it illegal for you standing over here looking for a job. We're gonna make it illegal for y'all talking together and congregate, so we can throw you back into slavery. And I tell you, slavery is still legal for punishment of a crime. Yeah. So they've been at war with us, and they still at war with us, man. And it's been that way. So that's why they get the guns and throw the drugs in their community. Don't get them no jobs. Don't get that black man no job, man. Get a black woman a job. Because now she'll start looking down on him. But he like, damn, I want to work too. We ain't got nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, yeah, man. They bring the drugs in. They drop the guns off. And you create this atmosphere to where now everybody like, damn, don't nobody care about us. And we fighting and scrapping. Not knowing, man, that the world is really yours if you just find out who you are. So, yeah, man, it's a whole.
I often say, Marcus, bro, if we ever united as a black people, we'll be unstoppable, totally unstoppable. Like we could take over the whole world, man, because we understand. A lot of us have been through, we come up through the hood, we come up in hard time. We ain't always had, but we survivors. We understand. We know how to make it, how to survive. And if we ever, and I don't understand the crab in the bucket syndrome. I don't get it. I don't understand the withholding of information. And to me, to be honest with you, I don't really believe in withholding of information anymore. Not in this age. Because information is too accessible to us. Books, internet. You can just about research and look up anything you want to look up if you want it, if you want the information. But I do believe that there are still a lot of gatekeepers out here when it comes to jobs and different things, and because they feel like, oh, I don't want nobody else up here but me, so, but it's just, it's us against them, but we don't see it that way. You just said they been, man, like the articles of war been like, man, been issued against us, man. Since shit after slavery, before slavery, like they don't. We are beneath them, bro. We've always been looked upon as a race of people that are beneath any other race, especially white folk, and they gonna forever feel like that, bro. And until we stand up, it's gonna continue to be the same thing. Monica says, Me and Lil Tony was riding yesterday, and it did my heart good that he darn near made me pull over to give a young man that was selling some Gatorade. He had a whole conversation with him, and it's the same thing we do. The simple things count with our children.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And
I believe it.
what's so sad, bro? This been some years ago, but this was in the New York Times newspaper, one of the biggest newspapers. You might have heard about it, Marcus. But it was a lady that wrote an article in the New York Times paper. She said, "We no longer have to do anything to the black people because they're doing it to themselves."
And
In the New York Times.
you guys familiar with Stacey Abrams, right?
Oh yeah, she on it.
I was watching an interview with her, her and what's his name? Oh my God, Anthony,
Anthony
Anthony
Anderson.
Anderson. And she basically broke down like what Trump is doing to the U.S. right now. Like she broke it down. You don't even have to be a person that really understands politics to understand how she broke that down to a point where that man is really trying to put us in a position where he's a dictator. He's definitely a dictator for sure. But when you talk about Marcus talked about slavery, and I think slavery has never stopped. I think it just keep going under different names. We keep assigning different names. And if Donald Trump had it his way today, we would be like back in slavery today if he had it his way today. But think about what he's doing to immigrants. He's saying we're not gonna deport y'all. We're gonna take y'all, we're gonna let you go back to the farms and work on the farms. We don't give you no citizenship, and you can't leave, but you're gonna work on the farm. That's slavery. You ain't gonna have no citizenship. You can't leave. The people that own the farms is gonna be responsible for you. That's slavery. I don't care how you look at it. It's slavery. If they can't leave, that person responsible for them, they ain't got no citizenship. All they gonna do is work.
So Marcus, let me ask you this: what do you think are some of the solutions? Because you're doing it, you're going in the community, talking to the young people, and you're doing a lot of research and stuff like that. As it pertains to, because you only can help one person at a time. You know what I mean? But what do you think are some of the solutions to what we're dealing with, mainly like Tony said earlier here in our city?
Well, it's like I always say, man, when I have private conversations and private study sessions where you can really get deep. And I always say knowledge of self and knowledge of who we truly are, man, it will explain a whole bunch of things. That's why I say a lot of people are not ready for those conversations. The pastors in the church are not ready for those conversations because there's a lot of conversations you have to answer. So, I always, I got a book bag. It's literally probably about 40 pounds, and it's just full of Bible notes. It's full of, I got like 3 of them like that. So the solutions they're there. Mm-hmm. They're literally there, but you can't, if you don't know who you really are, when it comes to the Most High God, the Creator, when He says, I'm making a covenant with a certain group of people, a bloodline of people, I'm giving y'all laws, statutes, and commandments to go by. Mm-hmm. Now He said, now Moses, when you're dead and you're long and gone now, these same bloodline people, they're gonna start worshiping somebody else. They're gonna disobey me. They're gonna do all these things. Mm-hmm. So He wrote in Deuteronomy, right, chapter 28. He said, like, all these things gonna happen to them. They're gonna go. Mm-hmm. They're gonna go back into slavery again. The last time they're gonna go on ships. They're going to have an evil eye for one another. They're going to fear for their life from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to sleep.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I don't care where they are in the earth, they're going to be at the bottom. Everybody going to get above them. But if you don't know who you are and you don't read and people ain't ready for them conversations, it ain't really nothing you can say, because he says that's a punishment. It's a prison sentence.
Mm-hmm.
But that prison sentence comes to an end at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's like, okay, then I'm going to gather y'all. I'm going to clean y'all up. I'm going to let y'all know exactly what it is. So then you all will know. So until then, the Most High said, you can't rush my judgment. You can't delay it. So these are the words that I share when God sends somebody to me, because everybody ain't going to get it. He
Right.
said, you got eyes but can't see and ears but can't hear.
Mm-hmm.
So everybody ain't going to get it.
Yep.
You know, scriptures say this world is made for many, the next world is made for just a few. So the fact of the matter is, he said a cleansing has to take place. It says evils are going to increase in these last days. Evils are going to increase. So we say evils increasing. He said, you all are going to be worse than the people in Sodom and Gomorrah. That's what the scriptures say. And we look, so I sit back and I'm like, my father wrote all this. He said all this was going to happen.
I just said it 2 days ago in the video. I just said the same thing. I just said that's like all of this stuff that was spoken in the Bible is occurring right now. This stuff is happening.
Yeah, but you know, but what he's saying though is mainly for us. I watched this documentary called Hidden Colors. I don't know if you all seen it before.
I've seen Hidden Colors.
Yeah, Hidden Colors literally tell you that, you know, a lot of the main reason why we're going through what we're going through, because we are the chosen ones. We are the chosen people, and we don't, like you say, if you don't know who you are, you're gonna keep on repeating that cycle.
But how do we get that message, Marcus, to the kids?
You can't. I mean, all you can do, because that's what God said, I'm gonna put a spirit of slumber over you. I'm gonna make y'all discontinue from your heritage. See, the thing about it is that like, I know who I am, so I move that way.
Yeah, right.
So when they see and they be like, because I don't force feed nothing. I don't do that, because you can't. If God don't open your eyes, man, he either chooses you or refuses you. If he don't open your eyes, ain't nothing I can tell you. I can show you all the biblical scriptures. I can show you videos of them saying, yeah, the Negroes in America are really the biblical Israelites. The Negroes who scattered across the world who look like them. Because you go anywhere, you listen to somebody, like, damn, what were you like? You from North Memphis? They be like, damn, you from India? You know what I'm saying? You're from China, you're from Asia. We look just alike. So the thing about it, they don't. Some of them do, because my children, they read and study, they know, they share it, but everybody ain't gonna get it. Everybody, it's VIP, man. Everybody can't be the VIP, and a lot of people don't understand those laws, statutes, and commandments based off the word, not me, was only given to one group of people. Amos 3:1 and 3:2. He says, "You only have I known, Israel, of all the families on the face of the earth." So I'm a judge y'all for y'all iniquities. So you see all these things happening to us, you be like, damn, why the hell is it just us? Why come everybody can do what they want to do? They living it up. But the minute we do it, we get our heads stomped in. Because you breaking the covenant. But if you don't know who you are, and the church ain't gonna tell you who you are, they're gonna tell you Gentiles and all of that. So, but all this, man, the Most High said, look, man, ain't no trumpet gonna be blown in the city unless I cause it to be blown. The Creator said, I do all them things, man. Are you angry? I'm putting that spirit of anger on you. And I tell cats that all the time, man, God do that. That's why I be saying, dog, it's all a part of his process. And they be saying, man, you know, Satan was kicked out of heaven. I said, oh, he was, huh? He ain't had no job to do. That's why come in Job when God called the angels back to earth, Satan showed up a couple of times.
He showed up too.
What you been?
He walked to and fro
through the earth because he had a job to do. I'm testing
to see who we could devour.
I'm testing them cats like you told me to,
bro. And just like you just said, he said, "Have you considered?" He offered up Job.
Yeah.
He offered, "Have you considered my servant Job?" He's like, "No, you know, I know you got a head around Job. You know what I'm saying? You don't get me with that one." He said, "I remove that." You can mess with everything but his soul. His soul belong to me. So if And the Bible said Job was an upright and perfect man.
But he couldn't
But
touch
he feared God
Satan couldn't touch him till he got
and
permission.
eschewed evil. So who the hell are you that God can't fit him after you?
That's my point. Satan has to have permission
Yeah.
to touch you, man. He can't just do it, or you can be like, come on, man, I want to rock with you instead of God. God, like, go ahead, man. You okay, cool.
Well,
so that's why I move the way I move.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotta have
I mean,
permission.
and then what you're saying is, it's so powerful because
Yeah.
the whole propaganda, how they mess with our religious, thought process and our spirituality, and everything they did, it came from us, and we don't even cherish who we are as a people because, like you say, we don't know who we are. But once you tap into that and honestly know that you are a chosen priesthood, a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, then you really understand, what it is. That ain't got nothing really to do with everybody as far as Christianity, but we are the chosen people, man. That's why we're going through what we're going
I've
through.
always said that. Monica asked the question at you, Marcus. She said, Marcus, it sounds like one of the solutions could be the church and the church providing the proper teachings. My question is, how do you get people back to the church?
We.
No, Monica,
he struck a nerve.
No.
Man,
It's a great question, but it's so many layers to that because my point is when you go to church, are they teaching you God's word or are they teaching you a lesson plan they were given? Because I tell cats, because a lot of times I study both of them. I'll be like, okay, cool. When people want to go into the New Testament, I'll be like, all right, let's rock there for a minute. I said, John the Baptist, the scriptures say he was providing repentance and salvation for who? The children of Israel. That's what he said. Matthew 15 and 24 through 26, that version of Jesus said, I am not sent but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that version said now. Matthew 10 and 5 and 10 and 6, he told his boys, his disciples, look, man, only talk to the children of Israel. Don't go near Samaria. Don't go into any of the gates of the Samaritans or the Gentiles. So if you open that book and don't know, a lot of times, man, these are talking about you, but they don't teach that. So when you get them back, if you get them to the church, you got to have brothers like yourself that's really want to break it down and listen, and don't worry about trying to make somebody feel good. That's why the scriptures say that Israelites they like sweet things, man. They like sweet things. Don't like.
I ain't never been no feel good preacher like that. Like
you can't, man.
If I can't give you the word, bro, I can only give it to you like he give it to me.
So yeah, that's why I try not to get unless I'm just having a conversation because it's so many layers to that, man. Because honestly, because just like you, I didn't talk to several preachers before that I knew. So within 15 minutes, I BS you not. It's been at least 3 of them. I had each one of them admit, yeah, that's true. I'm like, dog, you don't teach that. You don't teach that you don't teach that. Because they don't want to.
Is it that they don't want to? Or well, yeah, I guess it's, because what I see in church is a lot of people a lot of preachers trying to cater to the people instead of giving the people the word. They try to because they want to come up with all these catchy topics, these catchy topics. People see me, but they just don't know. I've been guilty of that too, Mark.
I feel
I've been guilty of that too.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a certain point in my life where I started to realize, man, it ain't really about that. It's even like the hoop. I'm like, if you're gonna get the hoop for you, it ain't for me. That hoop for you. I want that word. You give me that word. And there's been periods of time, and I shared this the other day, that I've heard people preaching. My spirit, man, just did not agree with what they were saying. Because God has given me a discerning spirit, and when I hear it, it ain't right.
Yeah.
And so we have to, that's why you got to, the Bible says to study. You got to study for yourself. So the self-approval, workman need not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. What you've been doing is rightly dividing the word of truth, Mark.
Bro, cats think it's I hate to say that because everybody ain't, placed on, but cats think it's easier. They think it's easier to get into heaven than it is, to get a high school degree. You study for that high school diploma. You study for orientation for that job. This the ultimate test. That college, and you ain't studying, dog. You just going off what the teacher, the preacher tell you. I'm good. What? Nah. You think the creator ain't looking at that and be like, hold on, man. You wanted to get to know me, and you want to court me, but you ain't trying to get to know me. Cool.
But it even deeper than that though, Doc, because a lot of folks don't really understand that the church makeup is catered after slavery. The pastor is the overseer. In slavery, you had an overseer who was responsible for looking over the slaves. You couldn't do certain things because the overseer wouldn't allow you, because the overseer would go snitch to the master.
Look, man, you know what? Y'all, I ain't no preacher, so I know y'all preachers and y'all in church. See, that's another conversation. A lot of people ain't ready to have, man. Because I'll be like,
folks know who I am. I don't look, man. Look.
The way the church set up, I don't see that nowhere in the New Testament. Dog. Where y'all get all that from? Because it is, because when you talk about 12 tribes, right? You got 12 brothers. Jacob changed name to Israel. Okay, this one I'm making my everlasting covenant with now. It's everlasting. Can't nobody break it. Everlasting covenant. And he said, okay, y'all are royal priestly family of people. 12 tribes. Mm-hmm. But it's only one who are the priests among the priestly tribes, the Levites. Mm-hmm. He says, so you really have to be from the bloodline of Levi to really teach my word, because those are the ones I'm going to give the understanding, but not anybody can go teaching. And it's so out of order, man. And that's why I be telling cats, I be like, man, boy, y'all don't, do you really? I'll be like, do you really want to know? Because I have some teammates from Memphis State. They'll hit me up. They be like, man, Doc, I ain't gonna even lie, man. Because we be talking. I said, I'm gonna give you the scriptures. We gonna talk. He said, man, it make me so uncomfortable. I said, bro, if you don't pay attention to what's going on right now, man, because the most I said it, he gonna send fishers first. See, he's still fishing. Them hunters about to come, man. So don't get caught when them hunters come, because they don't want to hear nothing you're talking about.
But I feel like that it should make you uncomfortable, because it's getting you out of the norm. When you following that path that everybody else is following, Marcus, mm-hmm. Everybody going the same way, it's easy. But when you following that road that's less traveled, it shouldn't be comfortable. It shouldn't be all that easy. So having a conversation, like them telling you it makes them uncomfortable, I guess it depends on how it makes them uncomfortable. But
you'll be hurting cats.
But even the Bible says the word, cuts like a two-edged sword. It cut coming and going. A lot of times, even when I preach, that man, I leave the pulpit just as a bloody mess as anybody in there, because it didn't hit me before it didn't hit y'all.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, the other issue is too, though. I mean, there's no way, bro, that you're gonna be able to go to an 11 o'clock service one Sunday out of the week for 300 and how many Sundays in the year? I think it's 52, and be able to get the stuff that you need to identify who you are. And half the time, like I said the other day, Tony, church is already programmed. You know what's gonna happen before you get there. We're gonna have devotion. We're gonna the praise team are now, the choir gonna sing. They're gonna get an offering. The preacher gonna preach. Some churches gonna raise another offering, and they're gonna go home. Where Where was you informed at? Tell me. Where was you informed at? Because we love inspiration, but we need some information, somebody.
Hmm.
I'm sorry.
No. It's performative, man. That's why I be like, man, y'all, you performative, dog. What you really saying? Talk to
Well,
me
I just
off.
told you it's a show. The new
Talk
church
to me off.
the new church is a big show, bro. It's a huge show.
Look, man.
It's a huge show. Monica said, that's my point. It's so much other crap going on in the church. And then when people show up off the street, we run them away with discord, judgment, etc. This is a topic for another discussion, though. Great conversation, guys. So let's kind of get back. I want to, because I, like I told you, when I was looking at this kind of made me, this is one of the things I saw where it said that, because, you know, we think that, you know, that it's mostly all these young kids that are creating all of this havoc. And it's not just all of the young kids that's creating these. In 2023, Memphis experienced a record number of homicides with 399 incidents. The highest number of victims were between the ages of 25 and 34, with 88 individuals in that range killed. Following closely were those aged 18 to 24 with 75 homicides. Even those older than 45 were victims, with 55 homicides in that group. In 2024, the number of homicides dropped to 296. So if you look at that percentage, matter of fact, this next slide kind of breaks down that percentage a little bit. It said Memphis, Tennessee, as of May 29, 2025, there have been 97 murders reported, which translates to a rate of approximately 15.8 per 1,000 residents. According to Memphis, according to RealLink report, this puts Memphis near but slightly below St. Louis in terms of the highest murder rate amongst U.S. cities. The Memphis Police Department reports murders separate from homicides. The current murder count is reportedly 8% lower than that same period in 2024. But these kids, matter of fact, here you go. Only 10%. Here you go, right here. Only 10% of the homicides perpetrators in Memphis are under the age of 18. And this according to a city's newsletter reports Action News 5. Similarly, only 8% of the victims are under 18, according to Memphis. In 2024, now this was 2024, and they said this was probably the highest number of homicide suspects that were under the age of I think 18. 16 homicide suspects were juveniles. Only 16, with 2 of them being younger than 12. This was as of April 2025. Now this was 2024. And April 2025 was particularly a deadly month with 14 children shot and 7 fatalities. So what they're saying is that there are more children being killed than the ones actually perpetrating the crime, and the children that are being killed ain't got nothing to do with the crime itself. They just happen to be maybe in the wrong place at the wrong time.
But then the other problem is this, though, bro. It's like us as a people now, bro. It's like a badge of honor to have somebody dead on a T-shirt. It's like death is a badge. It's like we enjoy this, like almost like with the crime rate with the different cities now. It's like I've been watching some documentaries on YouTube, and these guys like stick their chest out to say, hey, Memphis is you don't mess with us in Memphis. It's like it's a badge of honor. That's crazy to me, bro. You know what I'm saying? They want to see the teddy bears and shit on the poles and all that stuff when you roll out through the hood. It's like, are y'all serious? It's like death is an honor badge now in our society with our people and our culture. Where they come from?
But check this out, bro. When people say, I'll be like, look, man, that little small minority of you celebrating that. The majority of us ain't with that. But see, TV is such about programming and propaganda. Like
Absolutely.
Tony just read them stats. They'll lead y'all believe the young cats just out here killing like a mug, man. That ain't what's happening, bro.
It's not what's happening.
Dog, the television is I told him it's TV programs. It's designed to program you.
And they only highlight those. I mean, because if it's 20 murders, and just for example, if it's 20 murders in one day, right? They only gonna highlight the ones that were committed by black people and at a certain age group.
That's it, man. They picking. I'm telling you, man. National news.
Yeah.
They pick and choose what they want to promote, man, because it's a conditioning. And when I talk to cats, I said, you got to understand, they call it TV programs. I want to program you to think a certain way. And I tell cats, you call them their TV channels and radio channels, you're able to channel spirits.
Yeah.
So music, you channel spirits through these things, man. You have people looking at them, man, and you just brainwashing.
Yeah. And it's all about ratings.
Yeah,
it's all about ratings for them.
No, bro. Yeah. Now they want us to look at one another that way. When you be like, hold on, man. If I go to the stats, hell, we ain't the most incarcerated people on the face. Matter of fact, we ain't the most violent. If you just look at history, we ain't the most violent people on the face of the earth. Right. But that make you think we are. When we actually the most forgiving and the most welcoming. But they'll show you the ones that, yeah, man, Memphis, man. I'm from Memphis, man. We kill and drill. When the majority that's like, young nigga, no, we don't. Sit down somewhere.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Because they only highlight that small percentage.
I'm glad we brought that up, but I gotta, because you did a video and I gotta bring this up. And you gave my guy a great name, Screaming A. Smith.
Oh yeah.
Touched on that situation, man, with Screaming A. Smith, because dude was out of order, man. What you think that was about?
Look, man, bros. I say this a lot when I'm talking, man. Memphis is a very special place with a very special group of people, with very special land, with very special water. That's why our water is the best in the world. Mm-hmm. So it's always an agenda to make Memphis look the worst it can possibly look, so you can bring companies in to buy up land and to buy up things. So it's propaganda, man. Screaming A. Smith is getting paid. He gets paid what he gets paid because he doesn't mind pushing agendas. And there's a lot of times to tear the black man and the black woman down. That's my brother. Now he'll say that. He'll wrap a compliment around a whole bunch of goddamn insults.
Right.
So for him to say what he said, like, bro, I ain't no NBA players told you no like that, man. You a sucker, boy.
Yeah.
Because I have his colleagues, his co-workers. There's so many of them. They DM me, bro. I got their phone number. They'll call and text me, man, stay on his ass, man. We can't stand him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I see what he's doing. You pushing narratives and they paying you. See, a cat like me, man, God ain't ready. Like, I'm going to tell y'all right now. When you see me up there on the platform that big, just know that transition is taking place. The Most High is ready to put his foot down on Cat's neck, man. Yeah. So, because he says, I do it. I wake up in the morning, first thing I think about is how to make my bosses some money, and then I think about how I can get some of it. Like, boy, you a sucker, boy. So he puts his agendas and narratives to tear the black athlete and the black man and the black woman down, and they pay him handsomely for that. Because he says what they can't say. So they get him to say it.
Yeah.
Ain't nobody told you that about Memphis.
That's why he just got it. That's why Wichita just gave him all that money, because he gonna push whatever their agenda is. And that's they know that. Yeah. But look, man, we got to get out of here, man. We didn't win we done went over, man. But look, man, I want to thank, man. You got to come back and do it with us again, brother.
No doubt,
I
man.
want to thank Doc Holliday for being with us today, man. This has been an honor and a treat, bro. I've always respected you, man, and what you brought to the table. And man, that respect has grown tremendously over the years, man, because I watch what you do, man. And I just appreciate you, bro. And I still got that book for you too, man, for your son.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, and man, I just appreciate you, bro, wholeheartedly, man, you know, and what you're doing in the community, and you know, and just being about it. you know, you're not just talking about it, you're being about it, man. And I appreciate you. And I just wanted to give you the flowers, bro, while I got you on here, man. I appreciate you, brother. I love you, man. And hope we can get you back on here soon.
Man,
And we'll get out there in the road with you, Doc. We'll get out in the highways and byways. So when you get ready to hit one of them hoods, hey, call me, Doc. I get out there with you. I ain't never scared. I'm like bone crusher.
I got you, man. No doubt, man. No doubt, man. Love you too, man. I appreciate you. And y'all keep doing what y'all doing, man, because somebody listening, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, man. Well, we appreciate y'all tuning in. Lavelle, come on, pray us out, brother.
Lord God, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this time. Thank you for allowing our guests to come on and just fellowship with us and talk about some of the things that's going on in our culture and in our community. Continue to touch his ministry that he has and what he's doing to try to make people better, being better than they were on yesterday. Lord God, continue to touch our efforts as 2 Men Hats podcast. Continue to touch our families and our loved ones. And Lord God, I ask you to touch the city of Memphis, that you give us the things to make us a better city. And Lord God, we thank you for everything that you have done, and we ask you to continue to bless us. And we ask you to do this in your daughter's son, Jesus' name. And we said amen.
Amen, man. We'll see y'all tomorrow, same bad time,
same bad place.
2 Men in Hats. Let's talk about it.
The 2 Men Hats podcast with your hosts with the most, Tony and Lavelle, every morning from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We also have Queen Watkins with Clock That He. Tune in with us and have a great time. Let's talk about it right here. 2 Men Hats podcast.